Hi, I'm Jenna Nees, and I'm the Purdue Extension Ag and Natural Resources Educator in Putnam County. And I'd like to take a minute to talk to you about marketing terms. You know, marketing can be very stressful and frustrating because you hear all these terms that you have no idea what they are. However, I'm here to try to introduce you to a few of the basic terms that you might want to know when you're developing your marketing strategy. So let's think, what is marketing? It's a series of events and services to produce, transform, and transport a product or commodity from creation to consumption. Now we're going to focus just on the selling part of our commodity. Now what is a commodity? It's a physical product traded on the futures exchange. So some good examples of that are corn, soybeans, wheat, live cattle, and lean hogs. Now again, we're going to focus on the selling of those things. And what does, the marketing of those commodities? Well, it could involve the producers, obviously, because they're the ones growing the crop and then usually selling it, but also the elevators, the processors, and some end users, such as feedlot owners. They're all worried about commodity market prices. And then there are the speculators. They are individuals who use the futures or options market to make a profit while risking a loss. Now, all these different individuals can use one of 4 different tools when trying to make their marketing decisions. And so we're going to take a look at what those 4 tools are. And the very first one is our cash sale. And it's when the producer delivers the product to a location and receives a cash payment that same day. Really, we typically associate that with transactions that happen at grain elevators. And you can think about this as being one of the easiest ways to market your product because it's very simple. You just deliver it, receive cash. The next one is our forward contract. And it's kind of similar to a cash sale, but the product is delivered at a later date that is specified on a contract. So there has to be some discussion beforehand. It's not just show up at the elevator. That contract also specifies the quantity and quality of the grain that must be delivered for that agreed upon price. So it's a little bit more complicated than just our regular cash sales. Now number 3 is the one that starts getting even more complicated. And this is the use of a futures contract. And a contract is traded on a futures exchange that calls for delivery of a standardized amount and quality of a commodity for a specified month. And these typically are determined through competitive trading, like on the Chicago Board of Trade. Usually we don't do this on our own. We have to have a broker that helps us purchase those future contracts. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about futures, you may want to know what the different ticker symbols are. And so here on the slide, we have the basic ticker symbols for a few of the basic commodities that we deal with in the agricultural industry, and then also the ticker symbols for the various months that are used for our future contracts. The final tool is options, and these are options on the futures contract, and it is the right but not the obligation to buy or sell a particular futures contract at a specified price during the life of the option. This is the most complicated one of the tools that we've described, and it's one that you're probably not going to jump headfirst into doing when you're developing your marketing strategy. You'll probably need a broker to help you with it too. So now that I've covered those 4 tools, you're probably thinking, well, which one's right for me? And really, I can't give you that answer. No one can. It depends on your understanding of each tool and what your comfort level is. As you're trying to decide which tool to use, you want to look at some different information sources. And the first one is our fundamentals. That is looking at supply and demand factors that will influence where prices are headed for our various commodities. So some of those factors include carryover, forecasted yields, it could be demand on fuel, or demand for just that given commodity in terms of exports. Now, some individuals will not only use their fundamentals that they know, but also use technical analysis when making their decisions. Now, technical analysis is price forecasting by using historical prices and trading volume in chart form to make your decisions. So kind of looking back and seeing where you think prices are heading. Now, with that, it may be easier to see what your market trend is by looking at a bar chart. And that's usually used with technical analysis. And what those market trend does is give you the general direction of whether prices are going up or going down. And so that's just like the basic level of technical analysis. Look at charts, see where prices are heading. Now, as people describe markets, they're going to say, well, it's a bull market or it's a bear market. And you're kind of like, well, I don't see a bull or a bear there. And that's fine. A bear market is when there is a large supply or a small demand that results in a price decline. So bear market, there's a decline. In comparison, that bull market is when there is a small supply or a very large demand causing prices to increase. And so we say a bull market, prices are going up. So far though, we have covered some very basic terms and we've got 2 more to go. And those final 2 terms are basis and break-even selling price. Now, basis is the difference between futures price for a specific time period for a commodity and its cash price at a specific location. There are individuals who track basis because as you follow along with it, you're going to see patterns, and those patterns can be used to determine when you might want to sell your grain. And this is commonly done by a lot of producers and agribusinesses. And we even have some videos on it throughout Purdue Extension. Now, understanding basis comes in handy when you're looking at the futures market. Our final term, though, is break-even selling price. And it's the price the producer must receive for a commodity in order to cover all the costs associated with producing and storing that commodity. So it's kind of like that minimum number that you really want to receive for that grain or your cattle to make sure that you've covered all your expenses and you're going to make a profit. Some individuals will actually set their marketing goal at making sure everything they sell is always above that break-even selling price. So it's a good idea to have a basic understanding of it. Now, throughout this video, I've introduced you to a few different basic marketing terms. There's a lot of terms, but we wanted just to dabble into this. If you'd like to know more about marketing, please watch some more of the videos in our series that will help give you some more knowledge about stuff such as break-even, selling prices, technical analysis, and even developing a written marketing plan. We hope that this has helped you a little bit on your marketing journey, and thank you for taking the time to watch our video.